Welcome to episode 91 of Converse and Ninjaverse. I'm Will.
I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
And it's a very light news week.
It is a very light news week, but we do have a brand new world heavyweight champion.
Yes, Brock Lesnar beat up
Brock Lesnar beat the hell out of John Cena, so that makes us all happy.
As much as I don't like Lesnar, I don't like Cena more.
I like Lesnar.
He just beat the shit out of him.
He did. It was wonderful.
But he almost beat him so bad that...
You kind of almost felt sorry for him.
No, I was reading this interesting article. It's like, there's nobody that can beat him now. You know, there's nobody that makes sense.
CM Punk. Mr. AJ Lee needs to come back.
Yes. Mr. AJ Lee.
Well, I call her Mrs. CM Punk, so I have to call him Mr. AJ Lee.
That makes sense.
Yes. But yeah, overall, they have to stop plugging the fucking WWE network so badly. I'm so tired of hearing about it. Yes.
But, you know, if you don't have it, you can get it for $9.99 a month. And you get all the pay-per-views, including WrestleMania.
Yes. Well, no, now they're not. Now they're going up to Royal Rumble. Because I guess that first 6 months is done.
Ah, okay.
So now they have to promote the next 6 months.
Whatever.
It's just,
whatever.
We said, I think we all said last night, if you had a drinking game to every time they mentioned the WWE Network, you'd be drunk by the end of the first
13
match.
minutes in, I would have been alcohol poisoned.
I mean, I can understand they have to promote it. What I don't understand is if you're watching wrestling and watching the pay-per-views, why don't you just come up with are that many people like stealing the pay-per-views online?
I think what it is, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of people are sharing passwords to the network.
So, like, if you have a group of 5 friends and you're all sharing one password.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I guess, but still.
I don't know.
There's got to be a limit on it, right? It's like Netflix. You can only watch things on 3 screens at a time.
That's not true at all. Because if I have Netflix and my kids are watching it on their Kindle and my friend Brienne is watching it on her stuff and my wife is watching it on her all at the same time. So I don't know how true the
I had Netflix one time because I had gone from like device to device kind of quickly.
Yeah. And
they're like, you're only allowed to watch whatever package I have. I can only watch it on 3 devices.
Really?
Yeah. Because it went from one of my Blu-ray players, or like from my PC to my Blu-ray player to my iPad, and I might have tried to access it at one other thing, and it's like you can only have it 3 at a time.
Really?
Yeah, really? Didn't know that.
Yeah, I never had that problem. Well, now that I mentioned something, like 1 at a time.
Right. It wasn't like there was the odd thing was I don't even know how I did it because it was just me.
Time just like when I went to PAX.
I was trying to watch 3 movies at once. That was what I was trying to do.
When I went to PAX,
because I must be entertained.
Yes.
Yeah, when I went to PAX.
Entertained?
I am not entertained.
Let's get to the box office.
Right. Box office.
I'm disappointed in America again.
I'm a little disappointed in America, but at this point, whatever. Coming in again for the 2nd week in a row, which is disappointing, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came in at number 1, took in $28.5 million, took in $117 million total domestically.
You ain't got that Guardians money.
It is a drop of 56.5% from the week before. Coming in at number 2, but not that far behind. So we have hope that maybe Guardians can take the box office back next week. At a little over $25 million, $222 million domestically, and $400 million worldwide.
That's almost half of Avengers money.
Almost half of Avengers money, and that was a drop of about 40.4% from the week prior.
It's because everybody's seen it already.
Everybody's seen it already, and I think everybody's now. It's people just going to see it again. The next 3 are all in their first week of openings. Number 3, kind of surprisingly, was Let's Be Cops.
I heard it was funny.
I've heard it's funny. I don't know if I really want to. That again for me, that's probably I'll catch it on cable. I'll catch it on cable and then be like, why didn't I see this in the theater? This is hysterical.
Yep.
That took in a little over $17 million for the weekend. Number 4 was The Expendables 3. It took in $15.8 million. They are considering it a bomb.
Because Sylvester Stallone blames all of you out there on the internet.
Exactly. Everybody has seen it already because it leaked online like a month ago.
Everybody's seen it already because it's the same as the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
No, it's very different than the first 2 movies. When I watched it 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry, Sylvester Stallone.
Bad thief.
Sylvester Stallone doesn't really need it.
Greedy and lazy.
But yeah, that took in a little under $16 million.
I thoroughly enjoyed Expendables 3. I wouldn't consider it a bomb. I'm highly disappointed if they wouldn't keep making Expendables movies.
Well, next will be Expendables.
I'm sure it's going to do well internationally.
Yeah, I mean, but financial, it might not be a bomb, enjoyment-wise, but financially it is looking to be a bomb.
Much like Leonard Part 6.
Yes. And number 5 is The Giver, which took in a little over $12 million. That's the new Jeff Bridges, Glenn Close movie where everybody's memories are erased and everything is in black and white. It's like a sci-fi Pleasantville.
Oh, God.
Okay.
That's the best way I can describe it, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I woke up this morning and my wife was watching Pleasantville.
I think you said you woke up this morning and everything was in black and white. I'd be like, no.
Sometimes that happens. Drink enough. Sometimes you wake up.
If you play the WWE Network drinking game for $9.99 a month, you can wake up and have everything black and white.
If you don't wake up dead, you wake up and everything will be black and white.
All right. Well,
I do have Expendables 4 news.
Okay.
Expendables 4 or Expendables?
Expendables 4.
Okay.
I personally asked an action star if he was contacted about doing Expendables 4. And he said no, or he said that he doesn't know what's going to be done. He doesn't know what he's doing next. When I talked to the great Roddy Piper this weekend.
Oh my God! If he was in Expendables 4,
I would go see that.
Yes.
I wouldn't pirate it online. I would go see that.
Yes. I'll bet you they'll show it on the WWE Network.
I didn't pirate it online. Somebody had a bootleg that they gave me.
Which they pirated online and then gave to you.
Remember back in the day when we had bootleg movies? You remember my bootleg copy of Blade?
Yes.
It was so dark you could only see Wesley Snipes' teeth.
It was horrible.
Well, this wasn't a bootleg like somebody held up a camera. This was a pretty solid...
No, back in the day, bootlegs were bootlegs, man. You had somebody just like with your camera.
I always hated those bootlegs.
Oh,
What I did I used to get bootlegs of either foreign films or hard to get VHS things on a blank VHS tape.
Kids, we don't encourage
I used to
bootlegging.
go
We're
to
just
New
talking
York
about.
and get some like kung fu movies that you couldn't get in America. Like I got my first copy of Story of Ricky was in Korean and on a dubbed VHS tape.
The best bootleg story I ever had. This goes back to high school, right? Bunch of us, we went to New York City for the day.
You bought porn, didn't you?
No. This is fantastic. We cut class or whatever. We went to New York City for the day, and
this is why we do this now.
Yes.
No, we all cut class and we're lazy.
One of my friends, Jay, and his girlfriend really wanted to see Ghost. I mean, the movie's been out on tape forever, but she had never seen it. So the bootleg guy's there in New York City, and there's a copy of Ghost there. So he buys it. He's like, all right, fine, whatever. So we go home. A couple days later, he's like, well, come over here. So I go over to his house and watch it. Like, this is the copy of Ghost I bought. All right. He puts in the tape. It's literally like my living room. Okay? And there's a dude in a sheet that goes, oh, I'm a ghost! And then he runs off the camera, and then he comes back and he's like, woo!
Do you still have it?
No, that was his copy.
Oh, I would love that.
It went on for 20 minutes.
Better than the actual movie Ghost.
Oh, that was
Rest in
great.
peace, Patrick Swayze, but
Yeah.
the movie was horrible.
Oh, that was great though. But yeah, so that was my best bootleg memory ever. So let's move on to our actual news.
Actual news. Where do you want to go first?
Well, I got a couple of little Marvel things.
Okay.
That was news. I got a personal interview with Roddy Piper.
You
Yes.
did.
Because he doesn't know if he's going to be an
Actually, before we get into the news, Mike, where were you this weekend?
I was at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Let's talk about Monster Mania. This is the 15th annual or 15th monthly Monster Mania convention because you're at Monster Mania every other month.
No, Monster Mania is twice a year.
Twice a year, and I was going to try.
20th annual Monster Mania.
I was going to try to make it out, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to.
We severely need you because I can't operate a camera and interview people at the same time.
Well, we'll shoot for October and for Maryland, if you're up for that.
I got another shooting for. I want to discuss it with you later off the
Okay.
air.
All right.
I have different plans.
Okay.
But
Plans are good with me.
yes.
As that guy in that show used to say, I love it when the plans come together.
All right, Charlie Chaplin or Groucho Marx, whatever the hell you were doing. I know what you were doing.
What was I doing, Will?
You're doing Hannibal. But still, it sounded more like Groucho Marx.
It was kind of like Groucho Marx.
And then,
I know how I got Charlie Chaplin. He didn't even talk.
he did talk in The Great Dictator.
Yes.
All right. Monster Mania.
Yes.
Okay, Monster Mania. We went. We sold books with Chris Jensen, author. We had a good time. We met some fun people,
Mm-hmm.
fans and vendors and the like. As I previously stated, I spoke with Roddy Piper, asked him about Expendables 4. He didn't seem that interested or plussed about it, one way or another. What I did bring up with Roddy Piper that he got a kick out of was that when I was a kid, there was an urban legend that Roddy Piper lived in the apartments on Route 1 next to Toys R Us.
Behind the Toys R Us, yes.
On the Toys R Us. Roddy Piper, years ago, had confirmed that to me once, that he did live there. So I told Roddy Piper, this last time that I met him, that with knowing this urban legend, I was always had a concern in the back of my little mind that I would walk out of Toys R Us, G.I. Joe in hand, He-Man action figure, maybe even a wrestling action figure, and Roddy Piper would come, snatch it from my hand, and throw it into the street, or stop on it, or throw it on the roof. And he thought that was pretty funny. He said he had an apartment there that he shared with Don the Rock Morocco and Ace Cowboy Bob Orton.
Don the Rock Morocco was my first wrestling T-shirt.
Nice.
He said they lived in that apartment until they set it on fire and burnt it down. Never kicked out.
My grandfather back in the day actually did the plumbing in Titan Towers in Connecticut.
Nice.
So he used to come back with I have the first copy of WrestleMania on VHS. I had a bunch of T-shirts and all that stuff. So
I have the first copy of WrestleMania on the network for $9.99.
really,
You can watch it right now.
I can watch it right now if I want to. I could watch it if I want to. I could watch it on my phone.
With different music dubbed in, but I can still watch.
Yeah, but
They don't have the rights for things.
yeah.
I miss rights.
Yeah.
So last time you were at Monster Mania, wasn't there a giant Walking Dead thing that?
Let me finish my Roddy Piper story about the other
Oh.
thing that Roddy Piper said to me that was very interesting was up Route 1 a little bit in part of the shadier part of town. There was always a suspicious Howard Johnson's.
Yes.
You know that things happen.
Yes.
And Roddy Piper goes, and then there's that Howard Johnson's up the street, and he leans into me and he goes, "The devil lives there."
And you know what? Because Piper said it, it's fucking true.
Yeah.
But the way he did it in that, the deep Roddy Piper voice.
Yeah.
It's real low like that. And he goes, "The devil lives there."
Oh my God! Can we get him on the podcast?
I was on the podcast.
I'd probably cry if Roddy Piper was on the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Roddy Piper on the podcast.
But
It would just be the
Piper
three of
was awesome.
It would just be the three of us just sitting there going,
Like, I loved you and They Live.
Just talk and
just talk. We'll sit here and listen.
Remember that part of They Live when you took glasses off? That was
That
cool.
was awesome. Well, in the same vein as They Live, they had a They Live reunion there where I met Meg Foster from They Live.
Okay.
If you're not sure who that is, that's that chick with those ridiculous platinum blue eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was Evil Lynn in He-Man. She was in Best of the Best. She was just in Lords of Salem. She's around and she's doing work. She was super nice and, signed a picture, signed my poster, my They Live poster. Took a picture, and then as I'm, walking away, she goes, wait. And I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, I'm collecting hugs.
Nice.
And
Did she blow glitter in your face?
No, she's no glitter.
Blinded by her, no bodily harm.
Yes, I was not hurt by Meg Foster.
We're looking at you, Carrie Fisher.
Welcome to Call on the Podcast at any time.
Yes.
And then to round out the They Live reunion, Keith David.
Nice.
Who,
Man, his voice is everywhere.
his voice is fantastic, and he talks in that real voice. It's not like he's putting that on.
Everything he's in, even in Saints Row, he's in that voice. And he's your vice president, Keith David. In Saints Row 4.
He's Vice President Keith David?
Yeah, in Saints Row 4, he's the boss's vice president.
That's fantastic. Is that the one that we sat and we watched the trailer at PAX
Yes.
a year ago?
Yes.
And then I was really excited for it and never bought.
You can pick it up now for almost the price of the WWE Network.
How much is that? $9.99?
Oh, we know what this episode's going to be called.
The Ninjaverse Podcast Network, just for $9.99.
Here, I'll tease something for the other podcast because it's really Chris's story. But Chris has a humorous Keith David anecdote.
Yeah.
And I will. Yes, we're poisoned by Keith David.
Oh my God.
We'll save that for the Tales from podcast. But we had a good time with the people from They Live. A little bit of interaction. They were cool. I got my poster signed. And the longest line consistently at Monster Mania was Roddy Piper.
Nice.
As it should be.
Good
There
for
were a ton of people lined up to see him. He was spending time. He was talking with everybody. He was very personable. He's a class act, great guy.
He's always my favorite.
He was always a favorite as a kid, and now after watching him on Legends House, my wife loves him. So my wife would love to. My wife would love to, to meet him sometime. So
What channel is Legends House on?
I believe it's on the network, and you can get the network for $9.99.
I think I heard that. Oh, we're gonna ride this joke into the ground.
It'll be worth
Flaming horse into the ground with this joke.
We'll beat it to death. Well, and then the other big gets for me at Monster Mania was Walking Dead people.
Okay.
I started my Walking Dead experience with Joe. And you say, who was Joe? There's nobody on Walking Dead named Joe. Who the fuck?
Carol's ex-husband?
No, Joe was the guy that Rick bit his throat out, correct?
Yes. The leader of the gang of evil Merles.
Okay. Evil Merles. Not the Blue Merles. They're different people.
Not Blue Merles. The evil, not Space Merles. The gang of Blue Merles, or they're the gang of evil Merles. On Walking Dead, Joe was there, who was also in Sons of Anarchy. He's got a bunch of credits. The guy's a real solid actor. But he looks exactly the way he does on Walking Dead. Like that's not an outfit. That's not he didn't grow that beard for the show. I guess he's got it all the time. When he signed my poster, he signed it. He wrote "claimed" on my poster.
Nice.
And I was talking to him a little bit about it because we started doing the claimed joke at work. A couple of us that were Walking Dead fans, when we were gathering up material at work, we'd take stuff from each other and just be like, "claimed."
Nice.
And just walk away with people's stuff after we said "claimed." But one of the things I said, he was an interesting character, and I'm like, miss him that he's gone now, which happens with a lot of the Walking Dead characters when they're killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I wish they would do, I wish the Walking Dead spinoff series was a mini-series of some of these characters.
I totally forgot about the spinoff series.
That would be kind of cool if they did that, where they weren't just following like a group of guys. It was a handful of episodes of Joe and his group, and a handful of episodes of you know, even spinning off kind of the webisodes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like 400 days, like the extra part they had for the game, 400 days, when it was like a different group here, there, and there.
Yeah.
And there.
Yeah, I think that would be the best way.
I would watch 6 episodes about Joe and his group.
Yeah.
Maybe, include some other things or whatever, like we were saying, flesh it out a little bit, tie it into things, and
then end it where his story ends, which is biting the hell out of his throat.
And he kind of like lit up when I was talking to him about it. He's like, I like that idea. That would be, and he would be, because I think everybody who does that show seems like they thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah.
And, they have a great attitude for people coming off, an active show and coming to a convention to sign for fans. Everybody's awesome. And when I started talking to him about, like, your character and the story and those people, that was interesting. And I would watch more of that. And I kind of, there are a couple other characters like that. I even said to him, I'm like, I almost wish there was another show that, like, every time somebody got killed, they just moved them over to another show and you got a couple more episodes.
I mean, I think that part of the storyline, to me, I like the way it ended. I mean, that was the only logical way it could end.
And I mean, they did give you a little bit of a slow build where they kind of showed you that these guys existed without giving you too much about who they were.
But I think they kind of dropped the ball, and that felt a little rushed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they could have spent. I almost feel like a half a season could have just been spent on those guys.
Yeah, where Daryl's with them, and then eventually they cross paths with Rick and Carl.
Yeah, there could have been a couple. Because what was it? 3 episodes they really had?
Maybe 3 episodes.
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5, because it was the episode where you didn't really see anybody, the episode where you saw the whole group
where they showed up at the end and got Daryl.
And they got Daryl, and then there was a whole episode where
Daryl was with them.
And then, like, I think the next episode, Rick was tearing his throat out.
Yeah.
Did you hear the whole thing that Robert Kirkman was talking about with Daryl?
That he's possibly gay?
Yes.
Again, anything that comes out of Robert Kirkman's mouth, I do not believe.
Yeah, I don't
because he has been saying for 4 seasons now, I'm going to kill Daryl.
It's a great work, and it's almost better because that character has such a strong female fan base that it would almost be worse for that group for the character to now be gay
than for him to have him killed.
Well, from a serious point of view,
and I don't have a problem if that's the way they go with it. I don't have a problem with it.
He gets bit by a gay zombie.
They have set up that Daryl had an abusive childhood.
Oh yeah.
And whether it was beatings, and whether that it was just beatings, or whether that included some kind of sexual abuse, that he could have weird sexual regression type of things going on, which is an odd, it was an odd case and it's an odd thing. And then maybe he's so angry because of these things.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that is, I don't care.
No.
No, yeah, it really.
I don't care. It doesn't add to the story one way or another. One of the things I saw in one of the articles where I had first seen this in the past couple days, they alluded to anybody that reads the comic, the character Jesus comes, is that's kind of a badass, but he's also homosexual. Again, don't care. Good character.
What? You know what?
On the show, they introduced the female character that's gay.
Yeah, well, Tara.
Yes.
And even with that, I felt like they didn't really even. Like, it was just kind of like an aside. It's not important to the story. It's just kind of, okay, I'm gay. Whatever. And that's why I just.
Well,
I don't think
that I could see there being some story around it, but it's not a strong, important plot point.
It's not an important plot point. I don't care.
So basically, Kirkman's
They're
just
not going
trolling
to do a whole
people.
episode about.
Kirkman's trolling people. Kirkman's absolutely trolling people.
It's like they're not going to do a whole episode that like, oh, hey, Tyrese is black.
Yeah.
How did he become black?
Well, you see, his parents were black. And
As Lady Gaga would say, he was born that way.
All right, we're moving on to another topic. It's totally Gaga, and we're fucking done here.
I'm
so
sorry.
Who else did you see at
walked
Monster
right
Mania?
Well,
the
I did
fuck-
see-
You walked right the fuck into that.
I did see Tara, Alana Masterson, and she was a big fan of my Star Wars shirt by Comic Shirts.
Was she?
Yes, and she got a business card dropped on her.
Fantastic. Hopefully she orders. That would be fucking badass.
She wasn't too happy about the business card, it seems. I got a weird look at that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But we'll see what happens. But her handler actually dug it.
You were here, and then you were here.
Whatever.
I'm sorry. Maybe she'll,
Yeah, who knows?
But it turns out she's a big Star Wars fan,
Cool.
which was cool. And I told her it's always nice to meet another Star Wars fan. I spoke with Bob from The Walking Dead, who who was also in Waterboy apparently. Did you guys know that?
No. I don't think I've ever
Walking
really
Dead.
seen Waterborne.
Stop.
Yeah. Bob from The Walking Dead was in Waterboy,
Oh,
which is an interesting little fun fact.
yes.
Or not that interesting. And the thing I wanted to bring up with him, and it was really me more just kind of kissing his ass than anything, was the interest of his character being an alcoholic. And an alcoholic and post-traumatic stress.
All right, I know who he is now.
Did it really take you that long to get to Bob?
Yeah, he was the kicker.
Yeah. He's the black guy in Waterboy.
Yeah.
Yes. He's the black guy.
Okay, I got it. I'm good. Continue.
Okay, very good. So, Bob, who was in Waterboy,
The
he
kicker.
was the kicker
Who's the kicker?
in Waterboy.
Yep.
Adam Sandler.
Kickers are a little, kickers are a little weird.
Kickers are weird. But it was, he enjoys having that. He said he likes that faction of the character, that he's an alcoholic, and it gives him a little bit of something to do and some business and some, it's more than just business. Business is, he's not going to just sit there and shake in the background.
Yeah.
But it creates an interesting dynamic with that character.
He's a character that in the beginning of the season I didn't care for. But by the end of the season, I really liked, and I really want to see him continue. Is that going to happen? I don't think so.
I mean, it might, because he's an interesting, it's another interesting aside, and it's a different aspect to a character than they've dealt with anybody else.
But I do kind of think that with this storyline that's coming up in the upcoming season,
we're going to lose some people.
We're going to lose some people, and
and some of the non-comic people are going to be those people that we lose.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling that Bob is kind of going to be one of the ones to go, and I think Bob might go early, but I hope not.
That'd suck. And somebody else that was there because he wasn't in the house. Carl was at the.
Of course.
Carl was at the Monster Mania, not in the house. And he is a tiny little kid.
He's not that tiny.
He seemed a lot smaller than I expected him to be.
Taller than Rick. You have to kill him off because he's like 19. He's playing like a 10-year-old.
Rick must be 4 feet tall because this kid was little. And he's a cool enough, personable kid. He doesn't have a big head or anything like that, or at least from what I was dealing with it. And I told him, I'm like, hey man, you're quickly becoming the badass of teen idols.
Yeah.
He's like, cool. He's just,
So you're the anti-Justin Bieber.
Exactly. But anybody else Walking Dead? This is a weird one because I got her to sign my Walking Dead poster, even though she's been in one episode, and it's not what she's known for. She's been doing conventions for the past 25 years. Lieutenant Tasha Yar.
I was going to say Tasha Yar, who makes an appearance at the end of the season.
Yes. She was there. She was with the Walking Dead people. She was also signing a ton of Star Trek stuff. And out of all the pictures she had, she must have had 3 pictures from that episode of Star Trek where she bangs Data.
I don't know if I remember that episode.
You don't remember that one? For some reason, everybody in the crew got all weird and stuff, and she dressed all sexy.
I'm gonna have to defer to our resident friend Star Trek person and ask him tomorrow about it.
It happened. I remember it well.
Gene, I'm asking you. I know you're gonna listen tomorrow or Wednesday. Is that true?
Do androids feel love?
What I wound up asking...
Do androids dream of electric sleep or whatever?
Do androids dream of...
electric sheep.
Knocking the bottom out of it.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't get that reference, that was the original.
That's what
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner was called when it was a book.
Yes.
And if you don't get that reference, shame on you.
What is with the old-timey mustache?
I don't know. I kind of dig it. I like my mustache.
You should grow one like that.
I can't. My kids will disown me.
You look like the barber of Seville.
For those of you that aren't watching, Will was playing with Google Hangouts and giving himself a funky mustache and a monocle. Now he looks like Mr. Fucking Peanut.
You know what he looks like with the mustache? Take the monocle away. Just have the mustache.
All right, hold on. Okay.
Iron Sheik.
Yeah, absolutely. He absolutely does.
Pleasure to be here, Madison Square Garden, greatest city in the world.
America. Come on,
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So what else happened in Monster Mania?
Right.
We've been really heavy wrestling tonight.
Yeah, we're a very heavy wrestling show tonight. And we're missing Monday Night Raw as we're recording.
As we're recording this.
I'll watch Monday Night Raw later on my DVR.
Or you can watch it tomorrow.
You can't watch it on the network. You cannot watch it on the... I don't believe you can watch it on the network.
No, I thought you could watch it the next day.
No, you can't watch it the next day. They got some kind of television deal. It's like 6 months before the episode.
Oh, so that $9.99 doesn't get you.
So that $9.99 does not get you Monday Night Raw.
That's a shame.
But it gets you every pay-per-view.
And main event.
And main event and NXT and like all the classic WCW stuff, even when WCW
and original
really
programming
bad, and original programming like Legends House
and Divas, Total Divas.
But that's also on the E Network. So
no, not anymore. Now I think it's just on the WWE Network.
But you also get Slam City, which is a ridiculous cartoon thing that I've never watched.
And it's also on Hulu.
It's on Hulu, but you also get all the classic ECW and WCW pay-per-views with the incorrect music.
Ireland is going to love this episode. They love when we talk about wrestling.
9.
All right. We're gonna get a cease and desist letter from the WWE tomorrow.
No, we're not, because we're promoting their shit.
We might get our show put on the WWE Network.
Which on the front page?
$9.99.
$9.99.
All right. So, what other highlights from Monster Mania do you have?
Well, I was gonna bust Denise Crosby's balls a little bit to be like, "Are you happy now that you have other stuff to sign that's not Star Trek?" And I did get to witness her have to deal with the stereotypical nerdy Star Trek fans. Like the super geek, pants pulled up too high,
Really?
awkward, stuff clipped to their belts, Star Trek fans. And they asked her, and they were asking her things that, Star Trek fans should know. And it was, weird things, if you know anything kind of about...
You remember that time you were on that episode and you banged Data?
No, really what they asked her was, are you really Bing Crosby's granddaughter? Which she is. Which is one of those things that, like, if you're a Star Trek fan, you know that Denise Crosby. Like, you could look that up on Wikipedia. You didn't have to ask her.
You can look it up online while you were in line.
Yes, exactly.
Because your phones can do everything,
Including having the
including watch the WWE Network.
Oh my god!
And this is where I got creeped out. For her, for me, for because these guys just being oblivious.
This is really old beer and really strong, so I'm really drunk right now.
How much did you pay for that beer?
$9.99.
Yeah.
For anybody that's wondering, I've been drinking Weyerbacher Merry Monks that my sister's boyfriend brought me about a year ago. So
I wouldn't trust that monk at all.
It's been sitting and it's been fermenting and it's fantastic.
Alrighty. So as my Denise Crosby awkwardness continued, these guys are asking her if Bing Crosby was her grandfather, and then they were asking if she spent a lot of time with him. And she's like, "Oh no, he died he died when I was in high school." Now, I know this, and a lot of people know this. I don't know if it's common knowledge, but it's a well-publicized thing that Bing Crosby was highly abusive to his children. So his children would then not bring their children around their father.
Understandably so.
Who beat the fuck out of them.
So they're just bringing up these scars.
Yeah. So it was almost like your grandfather that beat the shit out of your dad was, did you hang out with him a lot?
Not cool. Not cool, Star Trek fans. Not cool.
Seriously.
And they literally walked away. When they walked away, the last thing they said to her was, "Keep on trekking."
No.
Oh, did she trip him? I would have tripped him.
I wanted...
For the love of all that is holy.
Almost like the Incredible Hulk, I was going to turn into Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds and smash the
Nerds! Or you start singing the song at the end of the Hot Tub Time Machine 2 trailer. You're a nerd. Fucking nerd.
Fucking nerd.
So then I decided not to ask Denise Crosby, is she happy to not be signing things that aren't just Star Trek, after she had to go through this Star Trek horror. But what I did think about was Denise Crosby made 2 documentaries about Star Trek fans. She made Trekkies and Trekkies 2.
Okay.
Cover the weirdness of Star Trek fans. So she's actually researched and followed this, and
so she was kind of prepared.
Yes, if anybody's prepared, she's the one. So I asked her, I'm like, now you got the new setup, you can start making documentaries about Walking Dead fans.
Nice.
And the weirdness that she has to put up with that. And she
remember that episode where you were like cooking
where you were cooking stuff?
That was awesome.
And my last Walking Dead interaction was with Eugene.
Nice.
Whose name is escaping me. I'm looking it up real quick, and I can't find it. And it'll be here in a second, but I...
Will!
Oh, where is he? The fucking credits? He's like Jeff something?
Foxworthy?
McDermott?
Yeah, that sounds about right. You were not a monocle pilot. Stop.
Josh McDermott.
McDermott.
Professionalism.
All right, listen.
He's your friend.
Josh McDermott was a riot, kind of like the whole show. He was photobombing Carl's pictures. He would take people, and he would just kind of lean into these little girls that are taking pictures of Carl.
Nice. Creepy guy behind him.
Yeah, and make creepy guy faces, man.
Nice. He was on an episode of Talking Dead, and he definitely seemed to have a pretty good sense of humor.
Great personality and very personable. And he asked me, I said that I was there with a vendor table, and he asked what we were doing, and I talked about Chris's books, and that we were there selling books. He said, "Oh, that's interesting." I told him it was horror books, zombies, ghosts, switches, all that. I had a book on me. I dropped the book on Josh McDermott of The Walking Dead.
Nice.
Josh picks the book up. I hand him the book. He said, "Oh, you're giving me a book?" He said, "Oh, that's cool." He flips to the back of the book. He goes, "Oh, I don't read anything over 300 pages." And he starts handing it back to me. He's fucking with me. And I go to take it from him, and he's like, "I'm just kidding." And I go, "That's all right. I'll tear out the last 20 pages for you. You'll be fine."
Nice. It's only Chris's stuff. Nobody else.
That's cool.
He was cool. He took the book. He was grateful for it. It seemed like, he was appreciative of it. It was. Oh, and I forgot. I have one more Walking Dead person, Stephen Yeun.
Nice.
Who I found out purely, again, another T-shirt thing. This was earlier. I wasn't wearing my Star Wars shirt, my comic shirts. I had a shirt I picked up on the internet that was a mashup of the Punisher skull and Finn from Adventure Time's hat.
Okay.
That's random.
It was random, but I liked it. So Stephen Yeun looks at it and he goes, "Is that Mouse?" Mouse, the Holocaust comic.
Oh.
Okay.
About World War II and about the Jewish Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no. I explained to him what it was. And he's like, "Oh, but he's like, Mouse?" I'm like, "Yeah, we talked a little bit about Mouse." And then I'm like, "It's a Punisher skull and Adventure Time." And he's like, "Oh, all right, Punisher." And he goes, he goes, "I just wish they would get their act together and make a good Punisher movie." So now I'm talking Punisher movies with Stephen Yeun.
That's awesome.
There was nobody else in line at this point. I had gotten him like late in the day, and there was nobody else there, so I could just bullshit with him. And I'm like, I think there were elements of each Punisher movie that worked on some level, but they just didn't get it right. And he goes, "It seems like it's there, and they're just missing it." And we both agreed that it's essentially just a Charles Bronson movie from the 70s, but the guy's got the T-shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen Stephen Yeun wasn't familiar with Laundry Day, so I filled him
I
in.
was going to say, it's 10 minutes long, if that. It's the best Punisher movie ever made.
Yeah.
I wound up telling Stephen Yeun about Laundry Day to have him check that out. And he's like, "Oh, cool," but we were just talking about Punisher movies and talking about so he's in that world. He's one of us.
Cool. And and again, if you haven't seen Laundry Day, look it up. It's probably on YouTube. It is hands down the best Punisher movie ever made, and it's probably 10, 15 minutes. 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
If that, yeah.
I think Punisher would fit in good on the Netflix shows.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he probably would. But that was, I think that was the majority of my celebrity interaction. I kind of waved to Mini-Me at one point, who was ignoring dudes but talking to girls.
That's right.
Especially the cuter the girl, the
question I have to ask is, did you go see Batman and Robin?
We did go see Batman and Robin.
Like the movie Batman and Robin?
Adam West and Burt Ward were there, and that is why I am completely disappointed that I wasn't able to make it this weekend. Because I've gone on record saying that my Batman will forever be Adam West. Like, I like Michael Keaton. I kind of dug Val Kilmer. But Adam West is my guy.
Adam West was our first Batman.
Adam West was absolutely our first Batman. I would run around as a kid wearing a towel, safety pin to my shirt, playing Batman because of Adam West.
And that made sense, unlike in Man of Steel when he puts a towel on. And who was he going to be?
We're not going there. We're not talking about that at all this week.
No.
At all this week. You quiet yourself. We will not talk about that this week.
I know. We don't have any DC news, just Marvel stuff.
We will not talk about DC this week.
I know.
So I had met Adam West years ago at a convention. And got him to sign something. And I wasn't... And I probably paid a quarter of what Adam West is charging now to sign something.
Of course.
But my wife has not met Adam West. And my wife is a giant Family Guy fan. So
that's what she's going to go with?
Well, she didn't want an autograph. She wanted a picture with Adam West.
Mayor.
That covers everything.
Mayor Adam West.
Mayor Adam West. But she got up to Adam West, superhero icon, and sang the Adam West song from Family Guy.
She's no longer part of our family.
Or podcast.
Adam West left. Adam West enjoyed it. Adam West.
I will see her in about 2.5 weeks. She's gonna get so much shit.
It went over surprisingly well, and Adam West is like, that show is so silly.
Security.
But I will say, what's the most high-spirited I've seen Adam West at one of these things in a while.
Nice.
Lately, in the past 10, 15 years, just seeing him at these things, I'll say past 10 years, he just kind of seems like he had enough.
Yeah.
But he came in with a much better attitude.
I can get that.
Burt Ward looks like he colors his hair with shoe polish.
I can get that too.
Burt Ward has brown hair. He has more brown hair than I do.
Probably browner than when he was on TV.
Yes. And it is like soy sauce brown. It is like what people's hair looks like brown.
Fantastic.
The other interesting thing that they did in this room, where those two guys were, Mini-Me was at a table next to Peter Mayhew.
Isn't he up to like Peter Mayhew's knee?
Ankle.
Not even. I was when Mini-Me he kind of was checking out the rooms and he rolled by because he's on a scooter. Whatever health issues the man has. I ain't gonna bust his balls about that. But he is a tiny man. I met Kenny Baker. I've seen some of the other little people performers, midget performers, whatever you want to call them, actors that happen to be midgets, whatever you want to call them.
Munchkins.
But Vern Troyer was like just amazing. I had no idea. When in a movie, you think about it, and then when you see this guy and you think about like stunts that he did in Austin Powers and some of the gags, and for just how small of a person he is, I kind of garnered some respect for him. For a guy with that condition to do some of the physical comedy that he did. It doesn't translate onto the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, and it's an odd thing because there's camera angles and tricks, and you don't realize. But when I saw the guy in person, I was like, "Holy shit, he's a little motherfucker."
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to insult the guy, and I'm not trying to make fun of the guy.
He's just a lot smaller than you would thought he was.
I've actually kind of
honestly, I'll say it this way: he was half the size I thought he was going to be.
Really?
Half.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But what did happen when he kind of rolled through the room, somebody was going to take a picture of him, and he wanted to take a picture with him, and he blew the guy off. There was a girl that we had made friends with who had she was an artist and a tattoo artist that was at the show. Good-looking girl, nice personality, great people. We made another friend. We made a bunch of friends at this show. But she asked to take a picture with him, and he stopped and was cool with it.
Of course he was.
And then one of the other guys got upset, and it's like, come on, bro, look at you and look at her, and who's going to get the picture with the celebrity for free?
Yeah, Vern Troyer is not going to stop and take a picture with me, but he's going to take a picture with a beautiful woman. I don't have a problem with that.
Nope.
And there was, we were in the room again with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So we did get to do our, every once in a while, get to do a hoe.
Nice. Hacksaw and Piper in the same room.
They were in the same room. Piper was down the other end.
Oh, that's a shame, because anybody that has watched Legends House, they need to be in the same room. And you can watch Legends House
for $9.99
on the WWE Network.
They should hire us.
They should.
It was weird. They kind of had the wrestlers, and I don't know. I guess it was partly who was promoting and getting the wrestlers there.
Yeah.
In the room I was in, it was Hacksaw, Brodus Clay, and the Queen of Extreme, Francine.
Wow.
Brutus Beefcake was across the lobby from us in the room with Batman, Robin, Chewbacca, and Mini-Me.
That's
And Piper was...
Sounds like the beginning of a joke.
Yeah, right? The wrestlers kind of spread out for a show that was kind of wrestler-heavy. They were kind of spread out. And not only was the show wrestler-heavy, but there was an unannounced... Or he wasn't even a guest. He just wound up there at the party that night. Blue Meanie was hanging out.
Oh, Meanie shows up at that stuff all the time.
Meanie's a fan. Meanie's out of the Philadelphia area, so Meanie loves it.
Well, we ran into Meanie at the Hall of Fame.
Yes, literally, we walked into Meanie.
Literally bumped into him and Matt Hardy at one point.
And you're like, hey.
I was walking through the lobby of the hotel where everybody was hanging out and partying, and at one point it was just me and Meanie walking past each other. And we clinked beers.
Nice.
I was like, Meanie! And he's like, ah! We clink, and it was...
Nice.
It was cool to see the Meanie.
All right, so it sounds like it was a good weekend at Monster Mania.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. That's a fun show.
Cool.
It's a...
I have to make it out there one time.
You do. You have to start to these things.
I do.
You do.
Right now, PAX is next on my agenda in March.
No, you gotta start making.
And we would have had some video interviews, but I didn't have any of you guys there to help me.
You had your wife.
He wasn't there.
Oh, she wasn't there.
He was only there the one day. And...
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll work out the logistics of whatever this next event is.
Yes.
Because we're approaching the end of con season.
No, con season lasts all year, man.
Well,
there's stuff going on now. They just announced right up the turnpike from me at the Meadowlands Walker Stalker convention.
Ooh.
that sounds
Walking Dead cast members, including David Morrissey.
Nice.
Nice.
So a bunch of people there, and a bunch of the Ramiro zombie people are going to be there.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
So if you're a zombie fan, that's for you. Walker Stalker in the New York, New Jersey area over at the Meadowlands.
Nice. Well, then I think instead of going into the Marvel news that you had, since we're talking about zombies, I think we'll go into the Phineas and Ferb news first.
Yes.
What say you, Will? Yes?
I'm fine with that.
It has been announced today, as taking away, leaving Monster Mania. It has been announced today that the Halloween episode of Phineas and Ferb are going to have two special guests.
In character.
In characters. One Simon Pegg and one Nick Frost playing Shaun and Ed.
Yes.
From Shaun of the Dead. Which I think is amazing. And I
love Disney so much.
And it makes sense because Ferb and his father are British.
Yes.
So I'm kind of excited about that.
I saw that as we were about to hop on for our pre-show. I'm like,
I saw that like 10 o'clock this morning, and I've been like all day. That was my big thing for today. It was like
nice.
Phineas and Ferb, Shaun of the Dead.
All right.
Now, why is one of them British and one of them not? I thought they were brothers.
They're stepbrothers.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is another thing that I kind of dig about the show is it's not necessarily.
I didn't realize they were stepbrothers.
Oh yeah, they're not the traditional family. They're not mother, father, brother, sister. It's mother, brother, sister, father, stepfather, stepbrother kind of thing, and that's kind of what I dig about the show.
Nice.
I am a huge Phineas and Ferb fan.
I have to get them for my Disney Infinity collection.
And I'm so disappointed I missed the Star Wars episode.
I have not watched it yet. It's on the Apple TV. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Completely forgot about it. And I put like the last minute and a half and just beat myself up for the rest of the weekend.
I'm so sad.
It was so sad.
All right. What else you got? Then we'll get to my couple of Marvel thingies.
Well, go into your Marvel thingies.
All right. First, before I get to my regular Marvel things, I want to point this guy out. You know the Funko Pops, the little bobblehead guys?
Yes.
They now have plush ones.
Really?
Yes.
Are his swords soft?
No, his swords are like hard, softish plastic.
Okay.
But yeah, these are like 15 to
Lower
20
it
bucks.
so we can see it.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
they're like 15 to 20 bucks. I like them. I found them on Amazon by accident, and then they have a bunch of other ones. They have Harley Quinn, they have Batman. I think they have a Wolverine and a Spider-Man.
All unnecessary.
Yeah,
Because there's Deadpool.
I know. I had to get Deadpool, so that was my first thing. Marvel made an interesting announcement regarding movies coming from Doctor Strange forward.
They
yes,
did. It was very interesting.
I actually like this idea, and it makes sense in the grand scheme of things. But after Ant-Man, after Doctor Strange forward, there are no more origin stories starting with Doctor Strange. They said when you see Doctor Strange, he is going to already be the Sorcerer Supreme.
And I kind of like that because, I mean, I like it, but at the same time, with somebody like Doctor Strange, you kind of got to go. I don't know if he's. I don't know if he's big enough in the public consciousness.
Well, they have mentioned his name a few times already.
Yeah, but I don't think when they've mentioned him, I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think that average Joe just going to the movies to see the big movie this summer is going to remember that Tony Stark mentioned him in Iron Man.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What I have a feeling what they're going to do, I think they're going to do the origin through the credits. Like, they're going to touch on it, and then it's not going to be an entire origin movie. It's just going to be
I think they need to throw some origin in it.
Like Guardians.
Yeah, kind of like Guardians, where they went, okay, this is, him as a kid or whatever, and then jump off that cliff.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden he's Doctor Strange.
Which I'm all for that. I think that's going to be an interesting, good idea.
I'm excited for a Doctor Strange movie.
Marvel Studios has completed works on an Inhuman script, and they are ready to look for directors.
Edgar Wright?
I don't think it's going to be Edgar Wright.
No, probably not.
But this is the movie that Vin Diesel is rumored to be in the lead as Black Bolt.
Which we've talked about. He'd kind of been teasing it over the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Black Bolt does not talk.
Yes.
So.
And Vin Diesel barely talks.
What would be fantastic would be Black Bolt face-to-face with Groot.
Yes.
It would be like Vin Diesel talking to Vin Diesel. Or not talking to
Not talking to Vin Diesel, just being scowly.
He would just be like scowling at Groot, and Groot would be, I am Groot.
And then the last little bit of Marvel news I have is more, not really news, it's just somebody wanting a part. Terry Crews really, really, really wants to be Luke Cage.
Just give it to him. Just let him be Luke Cage.
Yes. I think with a character like Luke Cage, he has that personality and he's boisterous and all that. It needs to be Terry Crews.
It does.
I think he'd be fantastic. But who would you have as Iron Fist opposite Luke Cage?
I think the only thing that's probably holding it up is I'm sure Marvel wants to skew younger with it.
No way. Everybody loves Terry Crews.
Yeah, but I mean, I can kind of see him, skewing a little younger.
No. Well, don't forget that's also going to be on Netflix. So this is going to be your street level, darker Marvel heroes. Yeah.
I don't know who to play Iron Fist.
Who? Yeah. Opposite Terry Crews.
Well, there have been Ray Park Iron Fist rumors for 10, almost 15 years.
Since the birth of the internet.
Pretty much. Since like Star Wars Episode 1 came out, and maybe the first X-Men movie, they've been talking about Ray Park playing Iron Fist.
Because he had such a great run as Toad.
Well,
and Darth Maul.
Well, Darth Maul was cool.
Yeah,
but you know what happens to Toad? You know what happens to Toads when they get struck by lightning?
Nobody knows what happens when they get struck by lightning. She didn't answer the joke.
She did. She said the same thing as everything else.
Oh, that's right.
It makes no fucking sense.
It's like they get superpowers?
They go and then explode.
You know what you're doing is you're leaving
Explode like a Michael Bay movie.
Most successful comic book character role.
What?
Snake Eyes.
He was.
Oh, yes, he was.
He is Snake Eyes.
Most of his roles, you don't see his face.
No.
Yes, and you don't hear him talk.
Except for Fanboys.
Yeah, that's right. He was in Fanboys.
Yep, prepare to get mauled. I was like, really?
That was awesome.
I liked him in Headless Horseman.
Yeah, he was great Headless Horseman.
No face, no head.
All right, that's all I got, though.
I got a little bit of Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
First off, I'm sure you both have seen it. Supposedly, the new Stormtrooper helmet has got a picture of the new Stormtrooper helmet has gotten leaked.
Badass
I
looking.
saw that.
It looks badass. I'm hoping it's real.
Didn't J.J. Abrams actually tweet that out?
No, J.J. Abrams tweeted out a picture of a robotic hand holding a note. So that kind of lends credence to the rumors of the opening to the new Star Wars movie, which I really hope isn't true. But we'll see in a year or so. The other big rumor coming out, I'm not even going to call it news. I'm going to call it a rumor.
I'm going to say confirmed.
No, it's not confirmed. And I'm telling you right now, it ain't going to happen. Is that the rumor floating around is that the original cut of all three original trilogy movies is going to show up on Blu-ray before the release of Episode 7.
I approve.
I approve as well.
Confirmed.
But I am going to tell you why it ain't going to happen.
Well, tell me why.
Because Fox owns the distribution rights to all three movies, and it owns A New Hope outright.
And Fox ain't giving nothing up.
It owns Empire and Jedi till 2020.
Really?
Yeah. Disney owns the rights to the movies, but not the distribution rights. So it's all sorts of complicated.
Kind of like the old Batman show that the rights were in all the different places and nobody knew had everything.
So unless there's some kind of super duper deal that's put out, and I really hope there is, we're not going to see it. But I want to see it. So Disney, I don't care how much money you have to throw at Fox.
You got Guardians and Avengers money, Disney, and Frozen money.
You know what? Throw it at Fox. Fox can keep the fucking X-Men.
No. Let them keep the Fantastic Four.
No.
We want the X-Men.
I want original cuts on Blu-ray. Fox can keep X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, whatever the fuck else they have or want, they can have it. I want original cut on Blu-ray.
I told the kid that was a rumor that was happening. Like the ones you saw as a kid. I'm like, yeah, like the one before.
I just don't see it happening.
Disney, just buy Fox.
We can dream, but unless there is a miracle and somebody, Bob Iger walks into the Fox offices and goes, "You will release the distribution rights to us now." And that works. I just don't see it happen.
They gotta walk in like in the movies conference room in Dogma.
Yeah,
I do believe in this.
But the only other big, I don't even want to say it's big news. It's just kind of news, is that they finally cast the leads in Powers, which is, for those of you that don't know, is a Brian Michael Bendis comic. Really good comic. It's kind of a detective story, but with superheroes. Mm-hmm. They've cast Charlito Copley, who, as Christian Walker. For those of you that don't know, he played Murdoch in the A-Team movie. He was in District 9, and he was the king in the god-awful Maleficent movie. And Susan Hayward has been cast as Dina Walker. She's from The Following. This is going to be PlayStation Network exclusive?
Yes, it's going to be, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you'll be able to download it on your PS3 and your PS4 free of charge because it's included in your subscription. Chances are it will be available through other more nefarious channels eventually. And
I'm kind of excited about that because I always kind of dug the Powers comic. If you haven't, heard of it or you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's interesting. It's an interesting take on the superhero genre.
As a hint of where you might be able to find it, I'm just going to say this right here. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
In your butt.
Probably the same place you found Expendables 3.
Put your Iron Sheik mustache back.
Put the Iron Sheik. All right, one more time. I'll put the Iron Sheik back.
But right. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I think that's all I got this week too. It was a light week because we're in the post.
We're in post Comic Con,
post Gamescom, post everything. Yeah. Other than the fact that they announced that Stitch, Tinkerbell, Donald Duck, and a couple other people are going to be in Disney Infinity 2.0.
Cool.
Merida.
Still not going to buy
it. You'll buy the Stitch figure. Shut up. You may not have the game, but you'll own that figure.
I might buy the Stitch figure. I might absolutely buy the Stitch figure, but because I mean, I have like my own little Stitch figure here that just kind of hovers over my desk.
God forbid they come out with a Deadpool figure for Disney. I'll be like, look what I have now. Nice. All right.
But
I think that's it. So you know where to find us: ninjaverse.wordpress.com, facebook.com/ninjaverse, youtube.com/ninjaverse, all the Twitters, all the everything else. And you can find me at Half-Ass Ninja. I'm on Steam and all that good stuff. And on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Half-Ass Ninja, where I stream games, probably poorly.
Probably.
All right. So I'm Will.
I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you next week.
And don't forget, for $9.99,
you can own all of it.
You can own all of it. You can get all the WWE Network, all the pay-per-views, including WrestleMania, for just $9.99.
And our podcasts.
And our podcasts for free.